Some things are better when you learn the lessons young. I'm reading from Lamentations this morning. This is Jeremiah's lament over what's happening in Jerusalem and Israel to the people of Israel as the Babylonians are coming and they're conquering the land and they're taking the people into exile. And Jeremiah says this, he says, "The Lord is my portion, saith my soul, therefore will I hope in him." In the midst of all of this chaos and everything that's happening, Jeremiah says, I'm going to hope in the Lord. He's my portion. The Lord is good unto them that wait for him, to the soul that seeketh him. So he says, even though these bad things are happening around me, I know that God is good. It's good that a man should both hope and quietly wait for the salvation of the Lord. It's good to wait for God and to hope for his salvation. It is good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth. Now, why would it be good for a man to bear the yoke in his youth? The yoke doesn't sound like something that's good. The yoke is an instrument to hitch a couple of animals together in order to pull a heavy burden. And if you think about it, calves were many times started in a yoke very young when they were still too little to be able to actually pull the implements that they would pull, just so that they could get used to the yoke and submit to it. That way they're not fighting against the yoke, because you could take a great big strong ox that wasn't broke to that yoke and he wouldn't be any good to you, because when you try to yoke him, well, he's just going to fight the yoke and run from it and flaunch and buck, and he's not going to know how to stay in tandem with the other oxen that you hitch him to. And so Jeremiah says it's good to learn this lesson young. Now, what is the yoke? What is he talking about when he says the yoke? Well, if we go on a few verses, he says, "He sitteth alone and keepeth silence, because he hath borne it upon him." The animal that's been broke to the yoke, he's not going to fight against it. So he knows what it is. When it's put on him, he's quiet. The animal who doesn't understand the yoke, as soon as the yoke touches him, he's going to fight and run and rub up against the fence and try to get rid of this thing. He goes on and says, "He putteth his mouth in the dust, if so be there may be hope." Now that is a term that speaks of humility. It says, "He giveth his cheek to him that smiteth him. He is filled full with reproach. For the Lord will not cast off forever. But though he cause grief, yet will he have compassion according to the multitude of his mercies." For Jeremiah, his image of the yoke has to do with submission to God and the quiet, facing suffering quietly and with humility. That's what Jeremiah is meaning here with the yoke. And he says it's good for a man that he bear the yoke in his youth. In other words, these lessons of trusting God in the middle of difficult times, these lessons of quietly submitting to God and of trusting that God, you might be having chaos all around you, but that God is going to bring you through that because of his mercy and his grace, and to quietly hope in the Lord in the midst of that. That's what Jeremiah means by the yoke. And think about the difference between a broke animal and an animal that's not broke. The animal that's not broke, they don't submit to the leadership that's in their life. The animal that is, they quietly submit, and they know that their owner is doing what's best for them. Jesus says in Matthew 11:28, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls." Quietly submitting to the Lord Jesus Christ, coming to him, taking his yoke upon us. He says, "For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." When we come to the Lord, we roll all those burdens off on him. We find that his yoke is easy. We find rest for our souls. We find that in Jesus. And according to Jeremiah, it's better to get in that yoke when you're young. I'd just like to encourage you this morning. I hope that you're yoked up with Jesus. I hope that you've come to him and you've submitted yourself to his leadership in your life. And I hope that for the young people, I hope that you do that and do it at a young age, because there's a lot of life lessons that you need to learn young that you need to learn from Jesus. God bless you. Have a great day.